Hey everyone, it's Maydad here from Sydney, Australia, and tonight I'm interviewing my great friend from the UK. We are here from YNV Health and Wellness, and tonight we're going to talk about the topic of mental health and empowering men coaching, a program that my good friend Greg Stewart runs over there in the UK. Now, I've known Greg for many years. He's fought for me as one of my fighters at Bondi Boxing Gym. He's worked at Bondi Boxing Gym. He's a coach, personal trainer, a life coach, and he does so many things. Greg, good evening. What time is it there in the UK?
Good evening, Maydad, or should I say good morning? It is 8 a.m. in the UK right now.
Oh, forgive me. So it's a morning there and night here. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning.
It's great to see you again, Greg. It's been minutes since we spoke, and I've been meaning to catch up with you and have this Zoom. So to find out what you've been up to. You've been doing a lot of exciting things, and it's always great to catch up with fellow coaches and practitioners and see what they're up to and share all these ideas. And anybody watching this back can take away some really good things that they can implement into their own lives. But Greg, I wanted to start off by asking you a little bit about your background growing up, where you grew up, where you're living. I believe you're in Liverpool now, aren't you?
Yeah, back in Liverpool. So that's where I was born and raised. Liverpool is in the northwest of England. Um, it's quite a rough and ready city. It's well known for its culture, its music, its sport. Obviously, Liverpool Football Club. Um, and yeah, it's a melting pot of culture. Um,
I
yeah,
was
it's
going
been
to
great
ask you,
growing up here.
Greg, are you a Liverpool fan?
I am indeed, yes.
I
And we are
won't hold that
sitting
against you because
nicely
you're
at the
on.
top of the table.
I won't hold that against you because they're on top of the table, and I know you're
Uh,
not jumping on the bandwagon because you've been a Liverpool supporter forever. Um,
yeah.
but being a Chelsea supporter myself, I know there's a little bit of banter, but I think when it comes to consistency, Liverpool are up there, before anybody. They're just so consistent, especially in the last 10 years, and it's great to see. But
Mm.
yeah, tell us a little bit about some of the the where you lived. Did you always live in Liverpool? What school did you go to? And
Yeah, so yeah, I've always lived in Liverpool. Well, up until like late teens, and I've lived in other countries, including Australia, as you know. I was over there for quite a while. But yeah, growing up in Liverpool, South Liverpool, place called Garston is where I grew up. Moved to Allerton, which is not too far from there. Um, yeah, went to Calderstones High School. Um, yeah, it's like I said before, it's a bit of a rough and ready city. Lots going on, and yeah, it was great. It was great growing up. Yeah, there's lots of things to do, lots of sports that we got into. Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
awesome, Greg, can you tell us a little bit about what led you to get into this journey and what led you on your journey to becoming and doing the work that you started doing with coaching um, and doing all these men's empowerment programs?
Yeah, so yeah, this is gonna I'm gonna condense this answer because I'm sure you can imagine with most coaches, our journeys is it's our lives, how we end up getting into what we're doing, and that's definitely the case with me. If I can condense this, I'd say growing up, I grew up in quite a dysfunctional environment. I didn't really have many positive role models growing up. I remember as a youngster, I kind of it was a bit tough for me, and I developed coping mechanisms in my teens. I turned to food and drink and drugs to soothe. And I went through a period of bullying when I was around 16, which had a big impact on me. And I think looking back now, that there's been a few pivotal moments in my life where resilience has kicked in, and that was definitely the first one for me. And I remember um, the first time I experienced some kind of resilience energy was kind of a fuck this energy. And it was a real powerful energy for me to feel like I wasn't going to suffer anymore. And I remember I went through a very big physical transformation. I was an overweight teen and I lost around 45 kilograms. I went really into health and fitness. I
Wow.
started running like half marathons and this, that, and the other. And then with this kind of transformation, this physical transformation, I was drawn to the army. So I joined the British Territorial Army, drawn in by the fitness and the discipline and this, that, and the other. And then I thought that was where my life was going to go. And then unfortunately, I got into an altercation after a night out in Liverpool one night with three men, and I ended up getting stabbed. And then that led me to get medically discharged from the army, and I just kind of had to pivot. So that was another big moment. Yeah, and I had to like pick myself up and figure things out, and that's kind of where I got drawn into education more. Went to study the business studies, got into university, did a degree in accountancy and finance. And along this journey, there was lots of chaos, lots of things going on in my life. And I think I got to around my mid-20s when I'd gone through all these kind of capital T trauma incidents. And, up until that point, I'd just crack on with a smile. I thought that was real strength. So I had all this stuff bottled up in me. But it was around mid-20s when the cracks started to show, and I knew I had to do something else, and that's when I started looking into alternative therapies like talk therapy, sitting with a therapist, or exploring all these different avenues. And nothing really worked for me until I went on my first men's retreat, and that's when, for me, a whole new world opened up. And that was the first time up until that point in life that I really felt like hopeful that I could change my life and I could live a positive life, because before that I didn't think it was possible with everything going on. So yeah, that was a really pivotal moment in my life. And then since then I've been involved with men's work, is what we call it. And that's basically it's like men's circles, men's retreats. There's an organization that I've been involved with for like 8 years now called Mankind Project, which is a global organization. And I was heavily involved with them when I was over there in Australia with you. And that organization kind of runs transformational men's retreats across the world. And I've been really privileged to be a part of that for many years now. And then, I suppose that kind of meandered me into this space, because of what I've been through, because of the changes and the transformations that I've done in my own personal journey, what I've witnessed around me with other men in that space. And then, wanting to help in that space anywhere I can. I'm condensing all this, but I've been impacted by male suicide as well. I've lost a few friends along the way, which have also been a really big impact on my drive to get into this space, to help with that issue, which is a big issue still today. That's kind of how I've meandered into it. And obviously, when I was in Australia, when COVID hit, that's when I decided through my network, and got suggested to do a life coaching qualification. And that's kind of when I started with the, getting certified and doing the courses and stuff. I got qualified, and obviously, the journey, but I'll share for the viewers. Things were going well, and then there was a point when I was in Australia where I lost my voice, and got sent for tests and received a phone call at the back of the gym, when I got told the sentence, which I thought I'd never hear, which is, you've got cancer. And that was a whole other journey then. The coaching kind of got put on the back burner a little bit. Had to deal with all that stuff. And then, lo and behold, I've ended up back in the UK. Um, did take a job back in finance when I got back here to kind of rebuild, but now I'm in a position where I've recently just ended that role and I'm focusing fully now on rebuilding my coaching business. So yeah, hopefully that's done it justice, my journey into this. Yeah.
That's amazing. You've done so much, and like Greg, I remember when you were over here, you were always involved in different programs. You were working with men's groups up at towards Christensen
On my
Park,
pavilion.
yeah,
Yeah.
on the pavilion, and also at Vaucluse, where you're doing stuff with men
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So I think mental health today is such a issue that we must not neglect, especially when it comes to men. When you talk about the statistics that CSIRO have put out recently, that there's 3 in 5 women and 2 in 5 men that suffer from some form of mental illness or mental health issues. And it's so important to talk. It's so important to work together and understand uh, a little bit about ourselves in order to heal, in order to move forward and clear the past. And I think sometimes all these trauma that we have in the past, all these experiences really govern the way we proceed through life. But Greg, um, can you tell us a little bit about the work that you actually do with men and the programs that you do?
Yeah, so the type of coaching that I do is transformational empowerment coaching. So I help clients, break free from feeling stuck or lost or lacking direction in life, and I can help guide them into a space of clarity and confidence and purpose. Many people go through life coasting on autopilot and follow a path that doesn't really truly align with what they're about. And my job as a transformational empowerment coach is to help people reconnect with their power, uncover their unique gifts, strengths, and potential, and get them unstuck. And yeah, move them from the wrong track onto the right track, which is their track. So yeah, that's kind of what I do in a nutshell. And I use all the experience that I've got from personal experience and all the tools and healing modalities and things that I've gone through and picked up along the way from a vast community of coaches and healers and people like yourself. So yeah, I bring all that into my work. Yeah.
It's really interesting that we learn from everybody. I remember when you and Brendan were running these programs in the morning at the gym at 6 a.m., where you had people check in and check out things that I was learning from those programs. But I've started running my own retreats, and now I'm delving more into the men's retreat, a little bit like yourself, but these are called the uh, inner lines in a circle retreats. These lines in a circle retreats are uh, all about bringing men together and working on their internal struggles and empowering them with information and education to move on and clear their shadows. And we talk about igniting their inner roar. But Greg, I know you talk about doing your own, you're looking at doing your own retreats and other programs. Can you tell me a little bit more about these programs? Because at the end of this Zoom, I'd love to give the audience a chance to find out more by knowing your website and email should they want to know
Yeah.
any information and want to contact you, especially if they're out your way in the
Yeah.
UK. Can you tell us a little bit about the programs that you're looking at running or are currently running?
Yeah, so as I said earlier, like I'm kind of like rebuilding this. So things are kind of back in the early stages. So at the moment, my offerings are kind of one-to-one coaching. There's a few different plans that I'm offering at the moment. There's like a breakthrough plan if someone's just looking to gain some quick clarity. There's a bit of a deeper coaching, and then there's a transformational plan, and they basically just run off the amount of sessions and time that we spend together, and they're all kind of bespoke to whatever my clients' needs are. On the side of that, obviously, you mentioned before, I'm a boxing coach. I've also coached soccer and golf and a few other disciplines as well. But I still keep up with the boxing. I still train quite often. So I offer my services as a coach in that space as well. And then I think also something that I do, which is kind of unique, is I blend the worlds of boxing and kind of men's work. So I offer sessions like de-stressing sessions where we blend the two disciplines there, and there's a bit of inner work and a bit of outer work in those sessions. And then also I run a weekly journaling and reflection session, which is on a Wednesday night in the UK at 7 p.m., which I think is going to be for you guys 6 a.m. So if there's any early risers who want to get involved in that, feel free. There's more details on my website, but it's called Evening Pages, and it basically just it's a guided mindfulness and journaling workshop where it gives you a
Sounds
brilliant
really positive.
space to pause and to reflect. And I get lots and lots of positive feedback off that session. It's really powerful. So yeah, those are the offerings at the moment. Yeah.
That sounds really positive. I'm writing I have been journaling for quite a long time. It's really only in the morning, and unless something important happens throughout the day, do I rarely journal at night. And I always pretty much journal in the morning. And it talks about my diet, my um, goals for the day, my wishes, long term, short term, and just me, myself, as the person I'm aiming to become, and I'm embodying and enjoying being. And I think sometimes with our flaws, we've got to learn to embody that and embrace that a little more, because sometimes we can be a little bit hard on ourselves. And journaling for me really helps with that. Greg, I'd love to jump into one of your sessions and listen to what you have to say and share. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of key takeaways to take away, and not just as a coach, but as a man. I think a lot of men shy away from this work because they feel a little bit insecure being out there and exposed. But the more you expose yourself with this work, the better you become, and you will benefit from it. And the rewards are amazing. Greg, I'm sure you would agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. Just to touch on those couple of things that you just shared there, journaling is one of these practices that's so simple and so accessible, and it actually works. It's a really powerful way of just kind of setting some time aside and being with yourself, and that self-reflection builds your self-awareness. And there's so many different ways that we can journal. Journaling in the morning is a great thing. Journaling at the night is a great thing. But any time during the day that you can just pause and reflect and just check in with yourself. I do a thing on there. The acronym is PIES, P-I-E-S, and it basically just a check-in of how I'm P physically feeling, I intellectually, E emotionally, and S spiritually. And the S can be interchanged with social if you like, if you don't
Beautiful,
resonate with spiritual.
beautiful, love it.
But that pies check-in is just such a simple thing to do. And as I say, it builds that self-awareness, checking in with your physical body, your mind, your emotional state. It's a great way of developing self-awareness. And to touch on your other point, obviously, specifically aiming at men because of it's my journey, it's the spaces I work in, and I know there's a massive need for it. And I've found that men like myself will probably struggle sitting like one-to-one with a therapist and just talking about things. Like it's not really how we operate. We operate best in teams, and when men are together is the most powerful way of men healing. It's like men supporting men. Yeah, so that's what I found. So that's kind of where I'm going. I know I didn't touch on it before, but my plans in the near future will be to set up men's retreats and have that space and recreate those settings for that healing to be done. yeah, it is powerful, and I think I touched on it before in my story. For so many years, I bottled up all my emotions and everything that was going on for me, and I really did think that was strength, just cracking on with a smile. And I know it's kind of cliche nowadays, but it really is true that vulnerability is strength. So as a man, to know when you need help and to reach out and to know that there's certain avenues for support, and I think men feel a lot more comfortable reaching out to other men. So yeah, it's definitely needed and vital to the space.
And there's only so much you can do in so much length of time that there's only so much length of time that we can really do in being people pleasing and hiding things until they will come to the surface. As you said before,
Of
I really
course.
like the way you refer to journaling being a great way to reflect and very empowering. Empowering in the way that you commit yourself for the day, that you improve, empower your self-belief in what you're doing every day. I know when I'm journaling and the things that I'm writing about mindfulness, getting good quality sleep, they have a good diet, nutrition, getting plenty of movement, etc., and all the other things where I refer to in my journaling about my family life, my uh, connection with the community as an important member of my own community and my goal setting, etc. Not just for the day, but long term. It really is empowering because I found that the more I talk about it in my own internal dialogue, the more it becomes cemented, the more it becomes motivated and becomes habitual for me. It's almost like practicing an exercise. The more you practice
Yeah,
it, the more proficient you become at it. And that's
definitely.
the reason that I love journaling. But Greg, can you share with our viewers what it is that you really love about the great work that you do and the men's programs that you run?
Yeah. So what I love most about being a coach is seeing the real kind of tangible impact that my work has on my clients. So my clients come to me and really put in the work. I get to witness their growth and their transformation in real time. They gain clarity and confidence and purpose, and that brings me a lot of joy because it aligns with my own mission. And it's not just my clients who benefit from this work. When a man comes to me and he transforms his life, it has a huge ripple effect on his children, his partner, his family, his colleagues, his community, even society at large at some level. So I'm really passionate about that, and I truly believe this work is helping make the world a better place, like one man at a time. So yeah, that's kind of what drives me, and obviously what I touched on before around male suicide. Um, if I can help prevent one man from taking his life and improving his life and changing that for the better, that's another thing that that lights me up, and I have done that on numerous occasions. So yeah, that really lights me up.
No, that's incredible. Even listening to you lights me up about um, male suicide. Working in our boxing gym, how many times
Yeah,
we've had instances where people have wanted to commit suicide, and it's
yeah,
not just because of it, people in a boxing gym. It's really everywhere. If today you only look around, the other day I was told that my daughter came back from school and she said to me, one of the kids is always telling everybody that he doesn't want to live anymore, that he wants to kill himself because his mum passed away and he's left with all his brothers and that, and he really misses his mum. And I think today, everywhere you go, people are hurting, people are suffering.
yeah,
Nothing happens until you take action. What you got to understand is you can't keep bottling things up. You've got to bring them to the surface. You need to talk to someone. You need to share with someone. And until you do, you're going to remain the same. And the question is this: how long can you keep remaining the same, whether it be 5 years, 10 years, and 15 years from now? How many opportunities, how much happiness, how much joy in your life are you missing out on? And at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, is this going to be a true reflection of who you really are and the person that you've become? Greg, I know that a lot of viewers watching this on would want to know a little bit, would want to know a little bit more about your journey and the programs that you run. Would love to know your how to contact you. Could you share with our viewers your social hashtags, your Instagram, your Facebook,
Yeah.
TikTok, LinkedIn, or any website that you've developed for yourself?
Yeah, so if you'd like to connect, you can check out my website, which is www.ontrackcoaching.com. And on track is spelled ONTRAK coaching.com. You can find more about my work, client testimonials, and ways to work with me on the website. You can also find me on Instagram. My handle is at on track coaching, where I share insights, tools, and content around men's transformational personal growth. You can feel free to drop me a message there if anything I've shared today resonates with you. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're looking for a powerful way to deepen your self-reflection, as I said earlier, I run a weekly online guided journaling session called Evening Pages. And that happens every Wednesday in the UK at 7 p.m., which would be Thursday, 6 a.m. Aussie Eastern Time. And it's a magical space where you can combine mindfulness, journaling, inner work, and people get a lot from those sessions. So if that sounds like something that you can benefit from, you can sign up on the website there. And any other kind of content, YouTube and this kind of stuff is all kind of coming in the works. But the website and the Instagram is there for now.
Excellent. It sounds like you're doing so many things, Greg. Greg, can I ask you of any memorable transformation that you've made with some of the men that you've worked with in the past, without mentioning anyone's name,
Yeah,
just that you can record and you could share with some of our audience watching this back?
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's one that comes to mind. There was a guy, a client of mine in his 50s in the UK here, um, that yeah, he was kind of lost his spark in life. He was stuck in a job that he hated, and he was unsure of his purpose and felt like he was just coasting through life. And yeah, after kind of not even that many sessions with me, but they were quite powerful, the sessions that we did. Um, we incorporated some mindfulness practices, got him journaling, revamped his CV. He found a new job he was excited about. He got back into healthy habits, started running again, even ran a half marathon. And yeah, completely changed his ways and his life. And the best part about that was receiving a message from his daughter, saying, "My dad is unrecognizable. What have you done to him?" And that is the power of this work. So that one sticks out. Yeah.
It's incredible. I want to touch on something that I've touched on before for any of our viewers watching is, and what I want to talk about what Greg just said and how powerful our personal internal representation is. It's also referred to our submodalities, which are our building blocks that govern the way you feel, the way you react, the way you communicate with others, and the way you respond in certain situations. And it has a lot to do with your past. But it's understandable, it must be understandable by all of us that any of our past can be rewired because over time it only takes two similar events to create a reaction, to create a stigma, to create a state that you assigned an event to. And as a result, your cognitive bias will start making decisions upon those events without really any rational thinking. And then it becomes traumatic. For example, let's just say I was driving down the street and a Chinaman driving another car may have cut me off. And because I've had that in the past, am I going to jump up and say all Chinese Asian drivers are bad? And you hear that so many times in so many ways. Oh, all blondes are not so bright or whatever. And that's not what I'm thinking, but just what I'm sharing. And this is all part of what our cognitive bias has developed over time. So I think all this work that Greg you're talking about is really empowering and really educational for men out there. And not just men, but women. But if you're specifically working with men, then we can refer it to men. Greg, it's been amazing talking to you. I would love to make time and catch up with you, especially on a day that I'm not at the gym. So that could mean a Friday, or it could mean my Saturday and your Friday, or my Friday, your Thursday. So let's just keep in touch and bounce things off each other. I'm always enjoyed and feel motivated to see other people such as yourself and other coaches sharing information, because especially stuff like the way you shared tonight about your evening pages. That's not something that I call my journaling, because I do it in the morning, but perhaps I can find out a nicer name for the morning journaling rather than just calling it journaling. But I love that name, evening pages, and I think you should stick with it. I look forward to listening to and joining in and hearing what other men embodying your program and hearing what it's all about.
Yeah. Well, Maynard, thanks again for giving me the opportunity to share some of my story here today. It's been a pleasure, and I also want to take a moment just to honour you. You were a big part of my Aussie chapter when I was over in Australia, and I'm truly grateful for that. From the boxing coaching to working alongside you in your gym to the friendship and the support that you gave me, it really meant a lot. You were there at pivotal times when I was in Australia, especially that day when I got that phone call. I remember it very clearly, being at the back of the gym and walking in. And yeah, it means a lot what the support and the love I got from you over there. And beyond that, I just want to acknowledge the incredible work that you're doing, the journey that you've been on, the coaching, the retreats, and everything that you're offering your community. Anyone dedicated to helping people transform their lives has my full respect. So thank you for the work you do, brother.
Thank you so much, Greg. I wasn't expecting that, but I'm gonna just conclude this session, everybody, by saying this. Some people come into your life for a season, and other people come into your life for a reason, whatever that reason may be. Maybe just a small reason, like Greg mentioned, as small as it is or as big as it becomes, and it really is personal to what that person assigns that moment or that time to. And this is why I did develop the Footprints Retreat. The Footprint Retreat is a retreat that I based upon the relationship that I had with my mentor and coach, the late Jimmy Williams, who died at 92 years of age, who was a Hall of Fame boxing trainer, who performed with people like Sidney Poitier, Miles Davis, Nina Horn, uh, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and so many people. He was a tap dancer, and he produced some incredible fighters, people like Antonio Tarver, John the Beast McGabby, Joey Gamage, and Lloyd Hannigan, and so many great fighters. But one of the things that he told me was this, that there are two most important days in a person's life. And one is the day you were born, and the second one is the day you find out why you were born and you share that gift with the world. And in remembering and honoring him, I believe in running my Footprints Retreat was all about laying down my own footprints for others to follow. All these great people that come into my life, like Greg and others, not just at the gym, but through other communities, outside the gym, through my kid's sport, or any area of my life where I bump into people, that we are here to lay our own footprints for others to follow. And then when we are not here, those people that we've touched and made a great connection with get the chance to leave their own footprints for others to follow, and so on and so on. Thank you for joining me tonight, Greg. It's been amazing talking to you. I'm touched by what you had to say, and I look forward to spending more time and communicating and learning about your journey and sharing more of my journey with each other.
Fantastic. Thank you, Maynard.
Take care, Greg.